What's up guys, Zach's from The Good Time Gaming, and today I'm bringing you guys a little video here about stealth in Payday 2. This video is going to cover a standard stealth build, as well as a couple heists that I have done in stealth just to kind of give me an opportunity to kind of show you guys some of the tactics I use in stealth, give you guys some pointers on some different heists in stealth, and just try and give you guys a broad range of skills to hopefully take with you, put into the game, go into some stealth heists, and be successful. So we're going to start by taking a look at a stealth build, talk about a few weapons that might be good for you, as well as your deployables, and then I will show you guys a heist at the end of this video and kind of narrate certain portions of it and just kind of call attention to some of the things I do in there so you guys can kind of understand some of the things that you could possibly have to do in stealth if you want to be successful. So let's get started. Starting out in the mastermind tree, we're going to take basic forced friendship, we're going to take basic confident, and then we're going to take basic Stockholm syndrome. So forced friendship gives us more cable ties and lets us tie quicker. Confident lets us intimidate cops from a farther distance away. So with basic Stockholm syndrome, civilians will not be intimidated by noise that you make. So if you fire your gun, the civilians will get down on the ground and they'll also stay there for 50% longer. Now the extra duration is also good if you yell at them, so it doesn't matter if you're firing your gun or if you're making them get down. This can be handy because in some situations, civilians may end up getting off of the map, such as in Go Bank, and they might be in a position to where you can't get to them to either kill them or tie them down, so you can get them to at least get on the ground where they can't call the police by having Stockholm syndrome. In the enforcer tree, all we're really wanting here is ace transporter, so if you decide you want to wear armor, then you'll be able to run a little bit quicker while carrying bags. And then with basic, of course, you can also throw a bag 50% farther, so there you go. Technician, we're going to be taking a number of skills here, so you're going to want to take basic third law, basic eco sentry, and then ace jack of all trades. Doing that will allow you to take 2 deployables. With jack of all trades, whatever your secondary deployable is, you'll only have half as many of it. So for example, if you'd normally have 2 ammo bags, you'd only get 1. What we're going to do with that is that's going to allow us to take either 2 body bag cases and then an ECM, or 2 ECMs and then a body bag case. This will give you a bit more flexibility, as well as give you some extra items to use in the heist if you need them. And of course, we're going to take all the drill skills here because, you know, these will shorten the duration of the drill and they'll also make it break down less. In Ghost, you're going to be taking everything in the Shinobi tree. These will let you lockpick things quicker, they'll give you body bags, they'll let you have Sixth Sense to where you can detect enemies through walls if you stand still long enough. This is just your standard stealth portion, so just take all those skills. Artful Dodger, we're going to get basic duck and cover, ace parkour, and then basic inner pockets. So we're going to gain some melee concealment with basic inner pockets. Duck and cover, we have to get started somewhere, right? And then ace parkour just allows you to move a little bit quicker and then run and reload at the same time. And last but not least, in silent killer, we're going to take basic second wind and ace optical illusions, which will give us a little more concealment for our guns whenever we equip a silencer onto them. For your primary weapon, it doesn't really matter what you bring. Something that's higher in concealment is obviously going to be better. Usually I take a Car 4 as my primary, although sometimes if I'm just feeling a little adventurous, I might take some akimbo pistols just because, you know, why not? They're still very concealable. So it doesn't really matter what you take for your primary, just go for concealment. For my secondary, I always take a buckshot judge. So with this judge, I have silenced it using the silent killer suppressor, and I'm also using buckshot with it. The reason for this is that if you are host, then whenever you shoot an enemy, that corpse of the enemy will fly off in the distance a little bit. It doesn't work if you are playing with someone else. So if someone else is hosting and you're playing, this doesn't really work. But if you're playing as host in your own game, then this works. So with this, you can shoot an enemy. This can sometimes knock them completely off the map. This can sometimes knock them into corners to where it's easier for you to get to them and then answer the pager or bag them up. That way nobody sees it. The biggest use I have for this is that in some situations you're able to kill enemies and then launch the body into a position where you don't have to spend a body bag to get them. Be warned though that there is always that chance that if you kill an enemy, they might end up in some place to where you can't get to them to answer the pager or bag the corpse. So just kind of be aware of that and be a little cautious. Your melee weapon doesn't really matter that much, guys. You could go with the telescopic baton. It has a pretty good reach on it. It's also concealable. That's an option if you want to get something that's like more of a traditional stealth weapon. Usually I just stick with my buzzer because that's what I use for everything anyways, but it doesn't really matter what the melee weapon is as long as it's relatively concealable. Your throwable also doesn't really matter. Shurikens, cards, knives, axes, whatever defines you, whatever you like, go for it. And last but not least, you're going to want to get the burglar perk deck. This is going to make it so that you can bag corpses faster, you can pick locks faster, you can answer pagers faster, and your crouching movement speed will increase. So a lot of really cool stuff with the burglar perk deck. It is the only stealth perk deck in the game, so it's one you should be taking. And then for your deployable, you're going to take either the ECM jammer or the body bag case. Now, depending on the heist, you may want to get 2 ECMs, or you may want to get 2 body bag cases. It really depends on what heist you're doing and what your needs are. Generally speaking, I tend to have 2 ECMs, and then I have a secondary of my body bag case. Body bag cases have 3 body bags in each one. So if you take 2 body bag cases, it's a total of 6 extra bags that you will have to use. Of course, you start out with 2, so you have a total of 8. So with that out of the way, I will now show you guys a heist that I did and kind of draw some attention to various parts of it, just to kind of highlight some portions and show you guys some of the tactics and some of the thinking that I go through whenever I'm going on a stealth heist. So Shadow Raid was the first stealth-only heist introduced into this game. Fun fact, whenever I came back from my hiatus, I don't know if I came back around the time this came out or sometime after that, but this was one of the first heists that I tried whenever I came back, and of course I didn't know that it was stealth only at the time, and I walked in there with like full armor and guns to start like shooting people, and I completely ruined the heist for these people who had, from what I remember, I think they were about halfway through the bags, so I'd kind of ruined the heist for them by accident. Whoops. So with Shadow Raid, I'm being very careful as to which deployables or bonuses I decide to pick up. For this, I usually tend to get a body bag case thermite, which I put in the back, as you guys can kind of see, and then I will also get the river tugboat. It makes for a nice way to just kind of put a drop-off point on the opposite end of the map, so like everything that's inside of the warehouse, inside the main place, can kind of go out that direction. So you see here I'm grabbing 1 thermite. For the route that I use, I will only need the 1 thermite, so I don't actually need any more. If you guys will notice as I play, you'll not see a whole lot of crouching or walking. The reason for this is that it's generally better just to run. Not only are you quicker, but you can also get into cover more quickly, so if someone does come around the corner, you can just like run out of the way real quick and get into cover. Keeping in mind though that you are more detectable if you're standing. Always make sure you mark guards, even if they're ones that are walking away. There's always a crowbar in that corner there if you play this map, so just be aware of that. I know that since that guard is padding away, there shouldn't be one whenever I kind of walked over to the crowbar area. Sometimes a civilian will go up there and patrol, and that can also be a problem sometimes. So that's a good example right there of using the judge to launch an enemy into a corner. Ideally, I would have wanted to get to his left a little bit and then launched him towards the other door that you guys can see, but I didn't do that. I was just kind of shooting him quickly, because it is possible for him to get seen there. It's unlikely, but it could happen. Again, here comes a civilian. I could have liked to kill him if I wanted to, if I wanted to be really ballsy. I could try and tie him up and then throw him into then bring him into the security room, but I'm going to just leave him for right now. Again, marking guards and checking all loot. If you guys notice, whenever I turn, usually I'll make very wide turns. This is going to help me to possibly see a guard and not go like face first into some guard, or in some case, if you're actually crouching, you'll go like right into their dick, so it's kind of a little awkward to go around a corner and be right into the guard's dick, so don't do that. So you guys notice I check there. There can sometimes be a regular security guard out there. I don't want to have to mess with him if I don't want to, but since there's no security guard there, there's one near that back corner there. So you guys can see he's trying to detect me right now. That one at the corner can be left alone. We don't need to worry about him. Just be careful if you're taking loot past him. You guys sometimes notice me, I will run and then jump through the air and kind of like glide. You do this by running and then jumping, and then right kind of like at the apex of your jump, you hit crouch. So what basically happens is that you preserve your movement speed, but then you also gain your crouch stealth, so you're less detectable, but then you're also still moving quickly. It's a lot more efficient than just trying to crouch and walk like that, so do keep that in mind. So you guys can see at this point I'm just looting and taking everything to the upstairs area there, right behind that little alcove where the stairwell is. Safe spot, they can't see the bags back there, and that'll set me up for the next part of getting the loot down to the tugboat. Again, it helps if you know where loot spawns are at. The server, for example, will either be in that room or in the security room, depending on which one it decides to spawn in. And there's usually at least 3 items upstairs. The Coke always spawns on that set of boxes there, from what I can remember and what I know. And there's usually something else, sometimes weapons, sometimes a random thing in the crate. So you guys might be wondering how I'm going to get downstairs. Just get right up here, use your fine aim, and then just gently jump down onto the barbed wire fence, and you're good to go. This is also why I like to put body bags here, because the way that I loot, I always do security in the upstairs first and then come out the back like that. So whatever bags I've used, I can then refill at this point. Again, guys, work smarter, not harder. We're now ready to loot the level 1 of the warehouse. So I'm going to start with the assault rifles, which always spawn there. Then open this up and toss those down. We'll be using the 1 thermite we brought to open up a grate that's going to lead outside. So it's going to allow me to get these down to the tugboat. So you see nothing in there. Sometimes you can get cocaine in this little room here, as you can see in the locker right there. So it's going to be nice and light and easy to move. And you guys noticed I was running across there. If I had been crouched, there's a chance he might have seen me since I'd been moving too slowly. So I usually like to say I just move quick, trying to go Sonic fast. And then marking the guard, just to keep tabs on him. Alright, now sometimes there is money bags in this office here, which I do find in this run through. And then sometimes in the little kitchen to the left across the hallway, you can sometimes find a crowbar in there as well as a money bag on the countertop in there. So we see we got our first artifact. These things are very heavy. They're one of the heaviest items in the game. It takes a very long time to move them, unfortunately. So you have to be very careful with these and very mindful of enemy positions, because if you get caught with them ways out in the open, it could be kind of bad. Fortunately, I got pretty lucky there, actually. There was no guard even on the first floor that I could see, so not a problem. So you guys can see going down the sewer here, and we're going to place our 1 thermite here. Now, if you have a team member with you, you can take both, but since I'm by myself, I only have access to 1. And usually whenever I do this heist on stealth, I'm either playing by myself or with 1 person. So usually I have to kind of like assume I'm going to do everything by myself, which is why I do it this way. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and spend 1 of our key cards here to see what we have inside of this crate. It's once again an artifact, so we get to try and tote this thing out of here. You guys can see things kind of get a little bit dicey here because this guard happens to show back up, as well as a civilian. I don't usually tend to go for the armor whenever I'm playing by myself. Sometimes if I happen to maybe get a key card downstairs, I might do an attempt. Or if I decide that I want to place one of the loot drop-off points right outside the warehouse, it can be kind of convenient in that situation. But it's kind of a pain in the butt. It's not hard to get in there. The problem is that you need to put 2 key cards in within 10 seconds of each other, otherwise you get locked out of the vault. So that means you'd have to have 1 on you, use it, and then either get the orange suit guard who carries a key card on him always, or happen to kill a murky water guy within distance who happens to drop 1, and then be able to go run over to it, get back to the vault, and then put the key card in the vault. Again, it's not impossible by any means, but it's just a pain in the butt. So I usually just spend my key cards that I find to open up those little locked locker rooms there, just to see what I can get out of the crates. So with that out of the way, we're now ready to loot the outer perimeter of the warehouse. This area people tend to be kind of afraid of, and I'm not really sure why. It's not difficult by any means at all. It's actually probably one of the easier areas. There's lots of cover. The guards tend to be pretty spread out for the most part. The orange suit civilian tends to be out here quite a bit, so you can down him if you get him into a good spot and then grab his key card. You guys can see, trying to be very careful here not to get spotted. This is also why you always highlight these guards. That way you can see their silhouette even while you are safely behind something, so you know exactly where they're going. See, this is almost bad here. I go ahead and kill him. I probably maybe could have backed up and maybe gotten away from him, but it would have been kind of a bad situation there. So you see, I kind of threw the money bag out of the way. I used the judge to launch him back a little bit, which would put him closer to the wall and away from the other guards, and then I moved everything kind of out of the way. So I'm gonna go stash this bag safely out of the way, and then run back there and grab that body bag real quick. Alright, so we're now gonna attempt to get up to this upper storage box. It's pretty simple. You jump over here, open it, jump back, and then jump right in. Very easy, very quick. It's like a 5-second ordeal. So just kind of demonstrated the power of the run and crouch, doing a little bit of gliding action here and there. That guard right back there that you guys saw with the hard hat and the orange jumpsuit, he always has a key card every time. See that guard's walking away, so we run past him. We can hit the door, and what do we find? Absolutely nothing. There can sometimes be an item in here, as you can see. And then also, I didn't show it in this video, but the extra crate came by. So there is one of two events that can happen whenever you're playing this. Either a chopper can come by and drop off more guards, or it can drop off an extra artifact, which will be in the center of the yard. In this case, I happen to get lucky and I got another artifact. So opening up that little lower area there allows me to have a place to drop that artifact into. So now I'm marking up guards. I'm going to make an attempt to get the artifact in the center here. Spoiler alert, I will be successful. So you see me making sure to have all the guards marked so that everybody and where they're walking to, where they're going to be at. You see they're kind of patrolling away from me, and that guard's just standing there. So as long as the one on my left there doesn't do something weird, then I will be totally clear to get that. So you can't actually jump with the artifacts. What you do is if you get it from this position right here, you'll be able to loot it and then just walk right over this. I'll happen to pick it up and then throw it over there and then, you know, jump up there and grab it. It's just a much quicker process. And then once you're behind this murky water crate, you're pretty much safe at this point. So there we go. Another artifact. Alright guys, and that is Shadow Raid. So for my trouble, I get a pretty decent amount of money. The experience isn't really that great. The payout's pretty good, so if you need money, it's a good one to do. But honestly, the biggest part of this is just the satisfaction of doing it. Shadow Raid's just a fun heist, and it's immensely satisfying to solo it, especially if it's your first time. So even though I've done it dozens of times at this point, I still love doing it. It's still a lot of fun every time. So I do hope that this video has given you guys a basic idea of a standard stealth build, and hopefully given you guys a little bit of insight into how to successfully stealth a heist, some of the mechanics that go into it. I will say that once you have a basic understanding of how stealth works in Payday 2 and you've been able to practice a little bit, it's honestly not that hard. The hardest part is just learning the maps, learning where the items are, learning maybe what items are good to put down as far as like your assets go and that kind of thing. But really, it's not difficult at all, guys, and if with a little bit of practice, you guys can get this and you can do really well in stealth. The biggest obstacle to doing well in stealth heists is honestly the people that you play with. You play by yourself or with someone you trust, you'll knock them out 100% of the time. You try and play with randoms who don't know what the fuck they're doing, then you're probably going to have a bad time. But if you have any questions about specific heists and the stealth mechanics in them, please let me know in the comments below. I'll do my best to give you some guidance or some pointers as far as what to do on those heists. If there is interest in it, maybe I'll do like a, I don't know, stealth guide video on just the different heists. I don't know, something like that, like maybe just individual videos. I don't know. I don't think that's really needed, but if people are interested in that, then maybe I would, yeah, maybe I'd do something like that. So let me know in the comments below what your favorite stealth heist is and what your best what the fuck fucked up moment is. Mine would definitely be the time that I fucked up the whole heist on Shadow Raid. That'd be my fucked up moment. So I will see you guys in the next video. This is Axie, a good time gaming. Please don't like, subscribe, and share if you like anything you saw today. And remember to always have a good time gaming.